What's up, people? Run It Back Nation, what is good? DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. I got Romp 2.0 in the building, or Sixers Talk with Romp.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk some Sixers. We're going to talk some NBA. And we're going to watch the Suns Jazz game. That should be pretty fun. Two Western Conference heavyweights.
Yeah, some real basketball players on those teams.
I just want to throw this out there. I just got a follow back from the legendary Ballsack Sports.
Oh, shit.
Right. They officially followed me back.
Dude, you should just retire after that.
For those that don't know, that is the best troll of all time sports page that put out the trade. And Daryl Morey dropped the name Ballsack Sports on live TV on the Mike Missinelli show. So I am now followed back by Ballsack Sports, and I'm happy about it. So the Kings are atrocious.
They just lost by let me check. 17 points, but they were down by 30, and they lost by 50 yesterday to the Boston Celtics.
To the Celtics. So they should trade for Ben Simmons immediately. We should sell high right now. Okay, Tobias Harris dropped 33 last night.
Oh, yeah.
And on the other hand, Tyrese Halliburton had 7 points yesterday. I think he had 11 today. He's 9 for 27 in the last two games and 1 for 11 from three. So Sacramento, you give us Fox and Halliburton because they're both obviously not good. And Tobias Harris is obviously amazing. And Ben Simmons is amazing. So they should they should make that trade.
So I made a tweet today. I was like, you saw it. Tyrese Maxey Tyrese Maxey and Tyrese Halliburton over a 33-year-old James Harden. And I don't know. I like James Harden, I wouldn't mind it, but just a backcourt of Maxey and Halliburton for the future is just so fun and just exciting. You know what I'm saying?
It would be fun for the future. It would be fun. It's all about what Daryl Morey is gonna do. I know you're a big time Daryl Morey fan.
Oh yeah, I just love him and his NFTs. He's just awesome.
So somebody said something today that reminded me of you talking about Daryl Morey when and they said that he's obsessed with superstars, and then I think about how he tried to put James Harden and Chris Paul together. Then he tried to put James Harden and Russell Westbrook together. And it makes me nervous about the fact that, does he care about big names over, fit?
Oh, yeah, he definitely does. He also went out for Dwight Howard, too, when he was kind of past his prime. I mean, Dwight Howard was good for them for, 2 years, but then he just fell off. I think he went for somebody else, too, but I probably forget. But James Harden, I'm just scared to get him because I feel like it's the right move, but knowing Philadelphia's luck, if James Harden came here, he would just get injured and he would probably just stop shooting 3-pointers or miss every 3-pointer he takes. So I feel like, and then the other side of it is everyone on Sixers Twitter wants James Harden now. And I don't know about you, but whatever Sixers Twitter's saying is usually wrong. Let's just be real. So the fact that they want James Harden now is kind of scary because last year they didn't. And honestly, I wanted James Harden last year, but looking at it now, since he got injured in the playoffs, it was a good move by Daryl Morey to back out of that deal because we would have gave up Maxey or whatever. So props to Morey for that. But now all of a sudden everyone wants him. I don't get it. What changed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's playing more because of Durant and Kyrie when he does play. He's taken more of a backseat and has become more of a facilitating point guard. So I think that gives the people the impression that he would be great with Joel Embiid because he's a threat to shoot, but he's a great facilitator and has a high basketball IQ, I guess. But yeah, it's just, man, if it was 27-year-old James Harden, I'd be all in. But it's tough when he was injured last year, didn't even get to play in the playoffs. He played 4 minutes or something like that before he pulled his hamstring. I
He's
don't
out
know.
tonight again with a hamstring injury.
Harden is.
Yeah, that he missed tonight against the Nuggets.
And what
And that's
happened in the
another.
Oh my guy, shout out to Swipe a Cam. I saw my guy Swipe a Cam on Twitter. He was all pissed off about the Nuggets.
Yeah. That's another thing about Harden. If you watched him this year, like he can't carry teams like he used to be able to. Like towards the end of his Houston run, he was carrying that team like Joel Embiid is right now. But this year, when KD and Kyrie's out, he just isn't the same James Harden.
No, not at all. Yeah, he was like on another level back then, man. He was dropping 60-point triple doubles. I'm pretty sure he has the record for 60-point triple doubles in a season.
Yeah, he has the record for most 30-point games in a row. But hopefully Embiid could beat that. But Doc Rivers ruined that.
Yeah, so he had a 33-point triple double last night, and the Nets lost. And he just looked. They lost to the Lakers, by the way, who, I mean, aren't anything to write home about this year. And he just looked like totally disinterested and defeated towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and another thing is like he's literally come up short in every playoff run. And I was like a Harden stan back in the day. I would always defend him in terms of playoffs, but it's like even I have gotten to a point where like he crumbles in big situations when the spotlight's on him. It's just a fact now. So that scares me too, because Embiid's kind of the same way. Like he hasn't had that, signature playoff performance or run. So if you put Harden and Embiid together, who are not necessarily proven playoff, talents yet, that scares me too.
Yeah, I was always a James Harden hater, kind of. Like, I always thought that he milked the free throws and got to the foul line. And every time he got to the playoffs, he immediately stopped getting those calls and he didn't know what to do. Like, there's plays where there was a playoff game where he drove like to the corner and leaned in and tried to flop, and they didn't call it, and he just walked out of bounds. And I was like, this guy just quit because the ref didn't blow the whistle. Yeah, I was always just like, I never liked the way that he played the game and tried to manipulate officials all the time. And he doesn't get those calls anymore. So maybe that's why he's not dropping 60-point triple doubles also.
And then there's another thing, like his usage rating is 28%. So if you get him, it's the same problem we have with Tobias Harris right now. Like everyone's like, yo, we got to get Tyrese Maxey more involved because Maxey's usage rating is only 20%. So imagine if he had a 28% usage rating like Harden. He's averaging 16. I'm sure he would average over 20 if that was the case. So like I don't get the point of having Harden and Maxey because then Maxey would be off ball and he's getting better at being a spot up shooter. But I would rather just like, let Maxey keep learning and keep like adapting as a playmaker because he's already shown so much strides as a playmaker. Like what was he averaging last year? 1 assist. Now he's averaging 4 assists. So now you're going to go out and get a 33-year-old James Harden just to stunt his growth. And we wonder why we can't develop like superstars.
Do you think Tyrese Maxey can become that? Because I think a lot of that is instincts. And when I watched the Spurs game and I saw DeJounte Murray, he's just instinctually a pick and roll guard, and he's so damn good at it. And I just don't really ever see Maxey being like a high level pick and roll facilitator. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever become like that type of facilitator. But I feel like Tyrese Halliburton, he doesn't need the ball in his hands as much as James Harden. And he's kind of had that role with the Kings. So I think, I don't know. I like the dynamic of Halliburton and Maxey a lot. Maybe that's just because I really like those two players. So my bias is getting the best of me. But I don't know.
What do you think it takes for Daryl Morey to say yes to the Kings? Like, because where'd my comment go that I had before? From there's a Kings fan, and he was in a stream earlier. Deals never getting done if you're talking Fox. And I was like, you guys are 12 and 30 something. You just lost by 50. Now you just lost tonight. You were down by 30 and lost by 15. I mean, the Kings are in disarray. They're absolutely atrocious right now. The fans are angry. Like, I'm watching Twitter and people are saying I'm embarrassed that I'm still watching this. Like, it is terrible. You scored 75 points in an NBA game. So why would anybody be off the table? I know Fox wasn't playing in those games, but Fox already had comments kind of in a couple of post games that made it sound like he doesn't care about the Kings or he doesn't care if he gets traded or whatever. Like they just seem they don't seem very in tune. I don't think the locker room's very well. Like the Kings should blow it up.
And it's just like the Kings have a good team. Like they have a lot of talent. It doesn't make sense how bad they are. They should
Exactly.
easily be like a play-in or 8 seed team. It's just that their organization, just like the Sixers for so many years, that their culture is just horrible and they're just a bunch of losers. So it's infected the team. It's
There's
that
no
plain and
like
simple.
there's no like veteran leader. I mean,
They
what
got
like
Tristan Thompson as their veteran leader.
like Harrison Barnes should be that, but he's probably totally checked out on these guys.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's probably like, listen, I got my contract. I'm still getting paid, but this is bullshit. I'm not like that's just a absolute dumpster fire.
It's I don't know. They got to make a move. Plus, they're not going to attract anybody like Ben Simmons, so you might as well just try to trade for him.
That's what I mean. And like people are acting like Ben Simmons is trash. Like as much as I can't stand the guy on a personal level, like I can't stand his arrogance. There's a lot of things I don't like about Ben Simmons and the fact that he quit on the team and how he handled the whole situation. But we're not going to act like Ben Simmons doesn't make a team better than the Kings are right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think he would get him in the playoffs,
yeah, like the
and then
defense
he would
is
crumble.
facilitating. Yeah, he would definitely crumble. He needs scores around him. He needs shooters. He needs scorers. But he would elevate those, but they would be giving up a lot of players also. So, but I think if you're the Kings, it's probably just like, take Ben Simmons and try your best to build around him. At least you have a big name. At least you're attracting attention, from a business standpoint.
Yeah, and going back, remember when you said the superstar thing about Morey? Like, if you look at the Suns right now, I mean, they're easily the best team in the league, and they're winning. They haven't really been healthy either. And I know they have CP3, but he's not like, he's obviously a superstar. But then other than that, you got like Bismack Biyombo has been balling out. Cam Johnson has been balling out.
Yep.
It's just a bunch of it. The reason they're balling out is because their system's so good. They have that nice point guard, and every player on the team complements each other. So you don't got to go for the superstar. You just got to complement Joel Embiid, just like the Suns did with Devin Booker.
Right. It helps when you get Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, we
I
could
don't
have
know
had
why.
him. We could have
Like,
had him many times.
I know that's the thing. Like everybody talks about his age, and they talked about his age even before he went to the Suns, or they thought when he got traded to OKC that he was going to retire, or that he was done for. And it was like he doesn't play above the rim. Like the dude could play until he's 44. I feel like he doesn't play a super athletic game. He's just super smart and like just a genius in the pick and roll. And he's patient. He just controls the game so well. And I think 34 with that kind of player is relatively young, honestly. So, yeah, we passed up on that one. And the Suns were like, we'll take him. And now look, because
They traded Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre and like a pick for him.
right,
I think we
ridiculous.
could have done that easily.
It was a perfect setup for them, with Devin Booker and the talent that they had. They just needed that veteran point guard to lift everybody up, and that's what happened. Now we'll see if they can.
Will we ever get a point guard?
I mean, Chris Paul level, no. I would at least want a Drew Holiday level point guard. We didn't even try to get him when he was available either, although the Bucks overpaid for him. But turned out
I just want Tyrese Halliburton so bad. He's averaging 7 assists at 21 years old. So
yeah,
he's long and tall too, because Maxey's pretty small. So You got to get like a taller point guard to make him less, scary defensively, because Maxey gets killed sometimes because he's just too small.
Right, that's exactly what the Bucks did. Wallace, Mr. Wallace, I'm not going to try to say your first name. I don't want to butcher it, but that's exactly what the Bucks did. They built the perfect team around Giannis. Like it's not rocket science. Give the guy a point guard that can run the team from the top of the key, and give him a sidekick that's a good 3-point shooter that can get a bucket and leave the paint open. Like, why for so many years have we stuffed players in the paint next to Joel Embiid? It makes no sense. It's stupid.
And we still got, our, Dennis Rodman, a.k.a. Matisse Thybulle, just absolutely clogging things up. But Sixers Twitter won't say anything about it because he's great in the short corner.
Did you see my tweet last night of this shattered backboard? Because it was like, I swear to God, I wasn't even looking at the TV and I heard this ball clank off the rim. And I looked up and it was Kate Scott was like, Matisse Thybulle for 3, and it was like, dong. I was like,
oh. Dude, he's not a good, he's just not that good. I hate to break it to you, Sixers fans, but he's just not that good.
He's athletic as hell. That's what it is. That's what makes him a great defender, and he can be a great defender. But listen, man, like, to be a 3-and-D player, you're going to have to be a 3-point shooter. If Danny Green in his prime couldn't shoot threes, what good is he? Yeah, you're a good defender, but we can't actually use you on the offensive side of the ball. That's why it's 3-and-D. There's no 0-and-D player.
Yeah, well, why is it just with the Sixers we get like incapable ball handlers or shooters? Just any. Like, I'm watching the Suns. They got everything.
Taz,
Cam Johnson. Mikal Bridges can dribble.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they traded Brett Brown traded Mikal Bridges for nobody. Why we ain't draft LaMelo Ball? Hornets 158 points. Did you see they tried to score 160?
Really?
It was like 20 seconds left. Instead of dribbling out the clock, somebody drove in and tried to do a layup. And the broadcasters thought it was going to start a fight because they were up 158 to like 120.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, like,
what is the NBA? So
yeah, the Hornets beat the Pacers 158 to 126.
They were losing early in the game too. That's a crazy
Kelly Oubre Jr. had 39 points off the bench.
We'll never get a Kelly Oubre, bro.
Why do other teams build teams like this? How do you end up with Kelly Oubre Jr. off the bench? He was dropping 30-point games last year.
And then it's not even like we have one problem. We got like 5 problems, like Ben Simmons, and then we got Tobias Harris to deal with, and then we got Doc Rivers. Like, we can't address all this stuff in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? That's what pisses me off, because everyone's focused on Ben Simmons while we have one of the worst coaches in the league.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about Doc Rivers. He blows my mind. LaMelo Ball had a 29-point triple-double, 29, 10, and 13.
Who's your under the radar team?
Miles Bridges had 22. Terry Rozier had 20. This, I guess, if the Hornets are under the radar, this might be under the radar team. They have so many good players on this team.
They're like the Hawks of last year, right?
Yeah. Like, Terry Rozier could have been a starting point guard when he was backing up, whoever he was backing up in Boston for a couple years when he killed the Sixers in the playoffs. Scary Terry. And the Hornets stole him, man. Like, we didn't even try to get. We never try. We never try to get an available, like, experienced combo guard that can score. We never try.
That's because he wasn't like a big name. I feel like we never go after the under the radar like names.
I don't think Daryl's going to do a Kings trade. I don't think any of the way that he talked in that radio interview, especially when he basically said they're a bunch of no-name players. He was like, That's how it's pretty much how he said it. He's like, I know everybody just wants me to make a trade for like whatever players.
To
So
make
everyone,
us happy. You don't care about our sanity? The fuck?
that's how he said it. Like for just whatever players. So everyone's happy. Like no, literally he meant like random players. Like they're no players at all. Like they're the Detroit Pistons bench players or something.
Does he realize like half of those players probably don't give a damn on the Kings? Like Buddy Hield probably has packed it in, and he's still one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. So if he goes to a winner, he's gonna get like he's gonna be happy and free. He's gonna bring that motivation to the team.
Exactly. And you can look at like people are saying De'Aaron Fox sucks right now. He didn't suck last year. Like he was averaging 25 and 7 and was pretty efficient for not being a great 3-point shooter or whatever. This year his numbers are down, but he looks like he doesn't care when he's on the floor. Seems like he doesn't care. They all seem like they don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't suck. He's better than Maxey. I hate to break it to Sixers. Right now, he's better than Maxey at this point. I mean, I think Maxey will be better, but De'Aaron Fox is better.
I don't see Daryl Morey budging unless it's a name that rings a bell. Maybe Jaylen Brown he would budge on.
Oh, I'll take that. But I don't see Boston doing that.
I don't either. I don't see Ben Simmons playing in Boston either.
Oh, heck no. Sacramento's literally the only place I think he'll play in.
That's a good point, bro. Like, we don't even talk about that enough. What NBA cities would Ben Simmons actually play in? Like, it can't be like a tough crowd. So it can't be New York, Boston, Philly. What other fan bases are like crazy sports towns? Like there's a couple other ones that he probably doesn't want to play in. Atlanta, he probably doesn't want to play in. There's there's definitely like you have to. It can't just be you get the right trade package in return. It also has to be a team that Ben Simmons would play for.
Yeah, I don't understand like what's the point of waiting besides I guess if we that's another thing with the James Harden. Like you said in your I think it was your live stream. Did you live stream earlier today or make a video?
Yeah, it was live
Yeah, you were
streaming.
saying you're like this is false because James Harden doesn't like the cold in Brooklyn. Why would he like the cold? It's like 15 degrees outside right now. He's not going to like Philly. Like he wants to go out to the west.
He does. Listen, when you're 32, you've already made $200 million. I mean, you want to win, I guess, but you don't see that like off season. Like you don't see James Harden coming back into every NBA season in amazing shape. Like he doesn't give me that feeling that he cares that much about winning. He's great, just naturally one of the best players ever. But I just think he's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go drop a 30-point triple double, see what happens. Like I don't think he actually cares that much. And then he's one of his best friends is like little baby and he's in Houston hanging out in the off season and like, I don't know, man, this guy likes to be in big cities. He likes the celebrity lifestyle. He doesn't like to be up in Brooklyn. He doesn't like to be, I mean, he probably likes New York City, but New York City's locked down right now also, so maybe he doesn't like New York City.
And
Maybe that's
I feel like this is a good thing for Daryl Morey, all these stories coming out. So he's probably leaking it just so he could, have some relief from fans if he doesn't trade Ben Simmons. Because if he doesn't, everyone will be like, oh, we'll just trade for James Harden in the offseason. That's what will happen. So
that's what I mean. People are acting like that's a guarantee.
It's not, dude, he literally picked to go to Brooklyn over at the he could have, if he really wanted to come to Philly, he would have went right away. Right. Remember, it was Philly versus Brooklyn, and he was like, I'm going with KD and Kyrie.
Right.
So now all of a sudden he wants to come to Philly because it's too cold in Brooklyn? What?
Yeah, I don't. First of all, I don't think he lives in Brooklyn at all. Yeah. I think he lives in a $5 million condo in New York City. Probably has a high rise in downtown New York City. Probably has a mansion outside New York City. Like he doesn't live in Brooklyn at all. Yeah. So, but yeah, if he would have came to Philly, there's no reason. Like he left Houston and went to Brooklyn. He wouldn't then, and if he is upset about the Kyrie Irving thing, because that's something that he didn't predict, obviously, right? Like, oh, we were supposed to dominate the NBA, and now one of these guys can't play half of the games because he won't get vaccinated or whatever. But so if he's mad about that, that's one thing. But if he's mad about that and wants to leave Brooklyn, he's not coming to Philly. He would go back to the places that he enjoyed being in, which would be back to Houston or New Orleans or Atlanta or, you know what I mean? West.
Didn't we do this with Kawhi Leonard too?
Yeah.
And LeBron James.
Yeah.
And
So
James Harden and Kyle Lowry. It's like, it's not going to happen.
no, Philadelphia. Listen, it's just the facts that there's places that are destinations for free agents, and Philadelphia, PA is not one of them. It's not.
It's a fact.
It's not a fun place to be. There's not a whole lot there. There's a reason people are so crazy about sports in Philly, because it's just a concrete jungle. There's nothing around. It is. They're like, that's why they're so crazy about sports. But big time celebrity sports athletes aren't like, oh my God, I want to go live in Philly.
Yeah, no one's saying that.
I'm shocked. Bryce Harper loves Philly, and he's from California. He's a West Coast celebrity, so it actually shocks me that he loves Philly as much as he does. But he likes the fan base, and he's a competitor. So you got to be a real psychotic competitor to want to go to Philly.
Yeah. So you don't think anything's happened at the deadline?
I hope so. It's just that he said like 3 different things in that radio interview, man. Like,
dude, he sounded like he's just collecting a paycheck. He just like talking the talk. It sounded like.
I don't know how he's so high on Ben, or he thinks he can get so much in return for Ben. It's weird to me. Like,
it's crazy.
If it's not somebody that really puts, you're not getting a superstar. You're not.
Dude, why would other GMs look at this situation and be like, yeah, we're going to give up way more than we should for that? This dude literally sucked ass in a series, and now he's sitting on his ass. And they're going to give up their whole franchise just in the hope that this dude all of a sudden wants to play basketball again. It's like, other GMs, I mean, are probably laughing at him if we're thinking about it this way.
Exactly. I talk about his like intangibles and what he can bring to a team and stuff, but when you really think about it, like, everybody knows what he did in the playoffs. He's generally known as a coward across the entire league. Everybody jokes about the fact that he refuses to shoot the ball and all this stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for somebody to not want to go anywhere near Ben Simmons. So you should be happy that a team even offered you like 2 young players and some first-round draft picks. And the Kings are awful, so why not take that and take their first-round draft picks too?
I mean, Jared Dudley was bitching Ben Simmons during that series.
He was 100% accurate. He said he's great in transition, but once you get him in the half court, he's average. And we as Sixers fans hated it when he said that, but he was 100% correct. He was like, I can stop Ben Simmons in the half court. This is easy. This guy won't do anything. And he was 100% right.
That's crazy. That's Jared Dudley, too. You think KD wants to go from James Harden to Ben Simmons?
I think, that's the thing with Ben Simmons. Like, as long as he's on a team where he doesn't have to be the guy, it could work. That would make me mad too, because that would be a cop out for Ben Simmons. Like, now you got 2 elite like perimeter scorers, and all you have to do is run up and down the floor and pass the ball, and now you don't have to shoot. Now you don't have to do anything.
That's true.
Like, if he'd somehow get traded to the Warriors, like, are you kidding me? Now Ben Simmons gets the luxury of just passing the ball to Steph and Clay and playing how he wants to play.
KD could save Ben Simmons.
I think so.
He could save his NBA career.
I think Ben would love to play with D'Lo and Cat since he's friends with them, but the Wolves would have to give up Emmanuel, you're right. That ain't happening. Oh, my God. Anthony Edwards dropped 40 last night. He had 40 points and 0 assists. Just straight buckets.
Yeah, he's not a passer, bro.
Didn't pass the ball once.
He said he felt like Black Jesus. He said that after the game.
Yeah, he's one of the funniest people ever, too. If you hear
I
him,
would love him. Dude, he'd be perfect for Philly.
oh my God, he's funny, man. I could listen to that. I would listen to that guy talk for hours on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. He needs to start a podcast or stream
anyway,
or something.
all these NBA players making these whack podcasts nobody wants to listen to. Can't we get an Anthony Edwards podcast? Like, can't we get someone that's actually fun to listen to?
No, because he's normal. You know, he knows he's making millions already. So why the hell should he put in more effort? You know,
It's
Danny
true.
Green, the freak he is, he's like, oh, people care what I have to say. I got to start a podcast. No one gives a shit what you have to say, Danny Green. He's basically a reporter at this point. I mean, I was watching the fucking Sixers post game, and then Danny Green's podcast comes on after. I'm like, why am I watching a player do a podcast when he should be playing? It's like, what? Get that dude out of here.
Yeah, some people have just some of these guys get such a big ego, and then they think that people want to hear what they have to say. But like, listen, if Danny Green's podcast was not shown on NBC Sports Philly or whatever, nobody. If it was just on YouTube with no like mainstream TV promotion, he would have less viewers than me right now. Guaranteed. There's no way 164 people would be listening to Danny Green's podcast. I honestly believe that.
I mean, you ever hear him talk?
It's boring as hell. And it's terrible. And oh my God, I can't believe I've never listened, but I can't believe Doc Rivers has a podcast because I can't stand to hear that guy.
Oh my God.
5 seconds. Who in the hell is scrolling through Apple Podcasts and it's like, yo, I got what Doc Rivers has to say about like political issues and like world peace.
That's like the worst topic too.
That's the worst.
I'm gonna put that on to fall asleep too. If I'm struggling to sleep.
Oh, I don't hear that guy's voice off.
I can't even listen to him talk. It just pisses me off.
I have nightmares if I hear Doc Rivers.
I just try to avoid his interviews as much as possible.
All right, so the Suns are up by 20 already.
Oh yeah, this game's over. Rudy Gobert's not playing, or Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Why are they both out?
I think they're hurt. They're playing a 1-3-1. The Sixers would shit themselves if that happened to them.
Oh my God, a 1-3-1. So Tobias dropped 33 last night. What do you think about that?
I don't care, to be honest. I mean, even when he has a good game, like I feel bad, but like I'm just scared when he has the ball because I know it's just going to be a contested fadeaway shot. You know what I'm saying? Like there's sometimes he makes quick decisions, and yesterday was the case a bit, but also he forced it a couple times, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And it's just the fact that he takes touches out of Tyrese Maxey, you know?
Yeah. No, Danny Green, this Lucas Cube said
No way.
Charge $1,000 per cameo vid. Bro, look at
There's
this.
no way. Are you serious?
Look at it right here, Danny Green, $875 for a cameo vid.
This dude's ego is unreal. I hate him even more now.
Who's paying $900 for Danny Green to send him a video?
Why is he in with all Packers?
I think they're all green. Yeah, Green Bay Packers. I typed
Okay.
Danny Green. What, $875 for a video from Danny Green?
Bro, what's our world come to?
I'm lost. I don't know why anyone would want to do that.
Do you realize Joel Embiid's winning games with Charlie Brown Jr. and Furkan Korkmaz? By the way, I'm done with Furkan, bro.
How did we get here, though? How did we get here in 6 years of the process? How is Joel Embiid playing with Charlie Brown Jr.? How did we get here? It's supposed to be better by now. You're supposed to have a Suns type of roster by now. You're supposed to have a solid starting lineup and very good role players coming off the bench. And he's playing with Charlie Brown Jr.
And of course, Charlie Brown would be a great player if he could make layups.
He's not.
He just can't make layups or
Yeah.
do anything else besides play good defense.
Right. So there's another one. Like, I need someone to explain it to me. Why? It's like when the Sixers need players to come out of the G League or wherever. We can't find a single basketball player that can dribble the ball and make a layup and do basketball things. But I watched the Pelicans last night, and they're not even good, and they got 5 guys that can dribble and make a layup and make a step back fadeaway jump shot. Like, these are things
They're quick.
It's just crazy. These are things that you see a kid do on a playground, and we can't find NBA players that can do that.
I would rather that dude Herb Jones over Matisse Thybulle. I'll tell you that.
Right. Why don't we have a Herb Jones? Why don't we have a
Guess what? He was a
Alvarez?
he was a 4-year college prospect like Matisse Thybulle. Came out of college, can shoot the ball, dribble, take it off the dribble every now and again, and he's an elite defender. And then Matisse Thybulle, same thing, but he hasn't developed anything. And he was a 4-year dude in college. If you draft those guys, they're supposed to come in right away, and they're supposed to do a little bit of everying. But he still can't do.
Smile 24/7.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so sick of his smiling, bro. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, you're talking about Herb Jones?
Yeah, I mean, at least he can take it off the dribble and do other things.
Jose Alvarado.
Jose, yeah, he's solid for a 10-day contract player. I believe he's on a 10-day.
He was running a pick and roll last night, like knifing through the defense, making plays, and I just don't get why other teams random basketball players can play basketball. Random guys that are good enough to be in the NBA can dribble, pass, and shoot, and we never find one of them. Like Shake Milton is the best like combo guard that we've gotten out of the G League that was kind of a impromptu. We need a guy right now when everybody was injured, and that's it.
We actually miss Shake Milton so much. I don't think people realize that. Like, yeah, he gets a lot of like slack too for like everyone always roasts him, but like when we have him, it's just another scorer who can actually get to the rim. He's inconsistent at times, but I mean, he has played very good this year. And I remember he completely destroyed the Warriors that one game and got us back in the game because Andre Drummond and him in the pick and roll was unstoppable for like 5 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, I love Shake. I love everything he does. He's not. I think I feel like last year he was a better 3-point shooter. I feel like something happened to his shot. He used to be well over 40%, and it was like when he's open, it's
beautiful.
Yeah.
Sixers curse.
Happened. Yeah, that's what happens to Sixers players. They forget how to shoot.
Dude, yeah, I know. Dude, if Furkan was a elite 3-point shooter, if he was a 40% 3-point shooter, that dude would be a great role player. But for some reason, I gave him a chance. I stuck by his side for like way too long. He just can't shoot. So now I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm no longer a Furk lover. I'm just sad because he let me down. Imagine if he was a 40% shooter, DJ.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That's all he has to do because he's improved in every other aspect. His defense has gotten better, his facilitating. All he had to do was shoot the 3 ball and he could be like a perfect 6th man or 7th man. But he can't shoot.
I've never seen a more hot and cold player than Furkan Korkmaz in my life. Ever. When he's money, it's like he doesn't even have to set his feet. He turns into Klay Thompson, and it's just automatic. And then when he's cold, he's not making anything for like weeks.
Even Isaiah Joe has been cold as ice too.
Yep.
But I blame that on Doc Rivers because once Doc Rivers went out and Dan Burke was the coach, Isaiah Joe was firing.
Yeah, imagine that. Isaiah Joe had 18 points in Dan Burke only coached 2 games, and Isaiah Joe had 18 points in one of those games. You'll never see another Isaiah Joe 18-point game under Doc Rivers.
I'm surprised Tobias had a 33-point game. First time a Sixers scored 30 points besides Embiid this year.
I like Joe though. Joe's a playmaker though too. You know what I mean? Like he does little things that people don't realize. Like just 2 dribbles baseline, makes a skip pass to the other side. Like he just does. He makes basketball plays, and he doesn't get enough playing time because it just doesn't make sense. Like you're gonna play Charlie Brown Jr. for 37 minutes. You're gonna play Matisse Thybulle for 35 minutes.
Yeah,
What are
like
these players doing?
that's where I like, Furk and Isaiah Joe over those players, because Isaiah Joe and Furk, even if they're not making shots, they could get into the lane and dish it out and just have the ball moving. Matisse
Yeah,
Thybulle, when he gets the ball, it just stops the whole offense because he doesn't know what to do with it. He can't dribble, and then if he dribbles, it usually goes wrong. That's why, you just got to have players who can make the right decisions or just shoot the ball when he's open.
exactly. You need basketball players. When the shot clock's running down and they have it in the ball in their hands, they might be able to make a play. We've always done this. We've had the Robert Covingtons of the world,
Oh, God.
Isaiah Cannon. I remember when they were both on the Sixers. Like, if either one of these guys dribbled the basketball, it was a turnover.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Like, Matisse Thybulle, as great as he is defensively, like, Embiid tells him to go for every steal, and he allows him to be aggressive just because he's backing him up, protecting the rim. And people without Embiid, Thybulle's defense and over aggressiveness would bite him in the ass way more than it does.
That's true. I liked Cannon. Oh my god, that guy was awful. I hated Isaiah Cannon so much.
I mean, he would shoot it over anyone.
So much. Yeah, that's why I hated him. This
He
guy was
we
chuck.
need that in Seth Curry.
Exactly. I think Seth cares too much about his percentage a lot.
Yeah, I feel that too.
He doesn't want to take bad shots. Like, bro,
He
just
pisses me off so much. I can't stand when he passes up shots.
Or he's wide open and it's a pump fake 2 dribble mid range. I'm like, just shoot the 3, man. Like you're a 45% 3-point shooter. Shoot 10 of them. How is Seth Curry finishing an entire basketball game with 2 3-point attempts?
He's one of the best shooters of all time. He could be if he took more shots, though.
Yeah, he needs a Buddy Hield mindset.
Yeah, Buddy, dude, I think Buddy Hield would average 20 on the Sixers.
The last time we played the Kings, Buddy Hield had 9 3-point attempts in the first quarter.
Dude, he does not give a damn. He really doesn't.
In the first quarter.
Dude, the Sixers need more players who are willing to take bad shots.
They need a lot. They need a lot. And Ben Simmons isn't going to bring everything they need in return. That's the thing. It's like, oh, he has to win this trade. You're not going to – there's too many problems with this team. You're not going to fix everything with the Ben Simmons trade.
At least we have Joel Embiid to hopefully save it.
Process in Philly, what's up, man? Nick Stauskas, Sixers legend. I hated that guy. Oh. He was a 9th overall pick in the draft.
Wait, we drafted him 9th overall?
No, the Kings did.
How did we get him? Did we trade for him?
Yeah, Sam Hinkie swindled the hell out of the Kings. He ended up with Nick Scott. He gave the Kings, I forget what he gave the Kings, man. It was basically nothing, and got Nick Stauskas and 2 future pick swaps. And both of those pick swaps ended up screwing the Kings over in the lottery twice. He fleeced the Kings so many times. We never did. We didn't end up doing anything with the picks anyway, but just saying. Sam Hinkie fleeced the Kings all the time.
Nick Stauskas was another shooter who couldn't shoot.
There was the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, there was a saying that they had that was the picks will swap, because 2 years in a row they would have the lottery party in the Xfinity Live Center, and the whole like NBA lottery was on the big screen, like 300-foot TV screen, and anytime they would announce like the Kings pick is here, and it just so happened that the Sixers pick was here, and the picks swap, the place goes crazy, and they're holding up flags that say the picks will swap. Dude, it was the craziest thing ever. When we sucked and we weren't winning anything, the fans were so good at just like finding ways to enjoy the game. Like,
Yeah.
we were so excited to watch the picks swap in an NBA lottery.
Yeah, I watched like every game, but I wasn't like on social media at that time as much as I am now. I just was kind of watching the games. I think I was like 13 years old at that time, so I was like,
yeah, I was gonna say it's actually pretty long ago now.
Yeah, I remember I thought Ish Smith was like gonna be a superstar.
Oh, he was a stud. I would kill for Ish Smith right now.
He was so good back in the day.
I would love Ish Smith off the bench, man. I remember watching Ish Smith and Nerlens Noel. There was no one else on this team at the time. I'm pretty sure either the year before they drafted what the hell was his name? The big center out of Duke.
Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah, like the year before they drafted him, the team was awful. They won 10 games, and it was just Dish Smith, man. Dish Smith throwing alley-oops to Nerlens Noel every game. That's all it was.
I remember we almost beat the Warriors with Ish Smith carrying us, but we lost at the end.
Yep.
Dude, Jahlil Okafor was like so good in his first like 5 games, I remember.
He was good for the whole beginning of that season. Like, people were making fun of the Lakers for passing up on him for drafting D'Angelo Russell at the time, and like it was crazy. His first game, I'm pretty sure he had 26 and 10, and we were like, "Yo, this is a new center. This is the new like future of the NBA," and it was crazy.
Now I remember I was pissed off that we oh no, the Lakers. I was pissed off that the Lakers drafted D'Lo before Jahlil Okafor. And I was like, we drafted another fucking center because we just kept drafting center after center after center. I was like, another center?
Kings not taking back Harris contract for Buddy and Barnes. Why not? Well, I don't understand why not. Kings fans keep coming in telling me like, why is anybody off the table? I don't get it. You know, I mean, I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's crazy that, you know, I don't think they definitely wouldn't do it.
I mean, I think Ben Simmons would have to be attached, but even I think Tobias with De'Aaron Fox would be pretty nice, because I think another reason Tobias is so bad this year is because we have no speed. So his slowness just gets even more slow because he's one of the slowest players I've ever watched.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he benefited so much from Ben Simmons just flying down the court and drawing in the defense. Yeah, and he has no you know, that's what I mean about Tyrese Maxey. Like, Tyrese Maxey just doesn't have that facilitating like instinct.
Well, that's because the Sixers handicap him. He dribbles up the court and he has to pass it to a posting up Tobias Harris at the 3-point line. And then he'll get he'll be like waiting for the outlet pass, and Tobias Harris will get the rebound and just be lollygagging up the court.
Thoughts on 76ers declining Pascal for Ben? Was that actually an offer? Was that a thing that was rumored?
Like last year, right?
Somebody was talking about it today, like that they offered it now or like recently.
I mean,
either way,
I'll take him.
You would pair Pascal Siakam and Joel Embiid?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're getting a little too scared about the, you know, if a player would work with Embiid. I think Embiid can work with anyone, you know.
Yo, Jordan Siakam going ham right now. The Utah's back within 8 points.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm a little behind you because I can't watch it on League Pass, you know, because it's on ESPN, which is one of the dumbest things I ever heard. Yeah. NBA is like, buy League Pass, but you can't watch national televised games on League Pass. It's crazy. But anyway,
I just thought you couldn't watch in-market games.
no, you can't watch national TV games. I don't. You should be able to watch any game you want with League Pass. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like like NBC Sports. Comcast owns NBC, and NBC gets the rights to Sixers games. So if you're out of the Philly area,
Oh,
you can watch like Sixers games on League Pass. But if you're in the Philly area, you can't watch Sixers games on League Pass unless you get a VPN and change your.
yeah.
That's what I do. But yeah, it's just stupid. But it's all money.
Jordan Clarkson. Damn. Imagine we had a Jordan Clarkson.
He's still getting buckets. What the hell? Yeah, we don't have the luxury of getting players like that.
I would rather
168 people in the stream. What's up, man? Hit the like button for your boys.
Yeah, we're just chilling. This ain't even
No intro. What is this? Oh, that was my screen share. You guys got any questions in the comments? What's up? Is Joel getting 35 and 10 tomorrow? If he does, what did I say today? If he gets 35 and 10 tomorrow, he will tie Karl Malone for the most 35 and 10 games in a row at 5 games in a row.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he'll get it.
And he is the first player since Bob McAdoo in 1975 to have 4 straight 38 and 12 games.
That's insane. It doesn't even make sense.
And people are mad at me today because I'm saying like I said on the stream, like you're witnessing when he's healthy, you're witnessing the best NBA center since Will Chamberlain. Like statistically, he's doing things that no other NBA center has done. And people are mad at that because, you know, they say like when he wins a ring, you can say that or whatever. I'm not talking about accomplishments. I'm just talking about pure athletic, just skill and dominance.
Yeah, I think he's the most skilled of all time, right? At the center position.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Jokic is up there too.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, like these are two guys we've never seen before. You've never seen two guys this size that can just dribble the ball the way that they do, that can, like, Joel Embiid's doing things that are beyond. And then, you know, people today were pulling out Hakeem Olajuwon, and somebody was like, nobody can touch Hakeem's post moves. And I was like, show one. Bro, are you kidding me? Like, there's a whole video of Joel Embiid emulating Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. You're telling me he can't do Hakeem Olajuwon's post moves? He does those in his sleep. He perfected it. You can't show me a single Olajuwon post move that Embiid can't do. And then they show me this clip of then they show me this clip of Olajuwon, and he's of his pull-up jumper, because somebody's like, Joel Embiid obviously shoots the ball way better than Olajuwon did. And they show me this clip of his pull-up jumper, and I'm like, it's just not comparable to me. Like, people have to accept evolution. They think old school stuff is the best forever. Like, obviously today's players are way more skilled than players were in the 80s.
I mean, Embiid had to develop a perimeter game in order to reach his potential, you know? Hakeem and all of them, Shaq, they didn't have to play on the perimeter because that just wasn't the game back then.
Yeah, so they didn't practice it. So they didn't come up practicing it. So I get it. Like, maybe they would have been on that level if they would have practiced coming up like they did. So, but you're not seeing, none of those guys are doing what Joel Embiid can do with the basketball. It's ridiculous.
Oh, no.
And so the clip that they show me, Hakeem like dribbles the ball like 3 times, and it looks like he's dribbling a cinder block. And like he looks like he's dribbling the ball with his fist, like just poof, poof, poof. Then he shoots a jumper, and the broadcaster's like, mid-range jump shot from Hakeem, absolutely amazing, and he's freaking out. And I was like, dude, if Joel Embiid was back in the 80s putting the ball around his back and like through the legs, step back 3, like their brains would explode. Today's game is obviously on a different level.
Yeah, I think the NBA has gotten way too good Remember Embiid's step back against Boston?
Yep.
Like that
From the
that
corner.
shit
Yeah.
that was unbelievable. The NBA has gotten so good with off the dribble stuff. It's I mean all levels of basketball too. Like college. Just
Yeah.
I mean it's just insane the skill level of today's game. I mean it's way better than what it was back then. I mean it was more physical back then, but
Yeah.
times have
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. The skill level is different. Players are doing things now that players were not doing. Like even when I was a kid, like even when I was like Iverson's handles, like even Allen Iverson said that Kyrie Irving's the best ball handler of all time. He's like, I was nice, but he's on a different level. Like people have to accept that this is not the same, you know.
Yeah, I think Kyrie's the most skilled player of all time, honestly. He'll like do a post move as like a point guard, and then he'll like do like a lefty floater. Like he doesn't even care about basketball. That's the thing. Like he just came off of the COVID thing, and he's dropping 28 points per game and doing insane dribble moves, and he doesn't care. He just cares
No.
about whatever he cares about. That's how good he is, man.
Yeah, imagine just being that good at the game. He can just
It's
like
insane.
he can just take 3 weeks off and like go to I don't know Israel or something and do a whole like philanthropy like feeding the homeless or whatever. Like seriously, I'm not even trying to make fun of it, but that's what he does.
Yeah.
Like, his website is like dedicated to like fixing the world, and then he just comes back and drops 40 points in the best basketball league on the planet. Like how and why are you that good at this?
Dude, I feel like he hasn't even like said like one sentence to any of his teammates. I feel like he just shows up and just plays. I don't even think he talks to them. You know, after the game, I feel like he just walks away. He doesn't even listen to the coach.
It probably doesn't. He's the one that said we don't need a coach. He's the one that said what did he say before that first season with Durant? He said I feel like Steve, myself, and Kevin are all three coaches.
Yeah, another thing about Kyrie is like he actually plays like really hard too. Like he's a really he's an elite defender at the point guard position. I would have took him for Simmons. I mean, he probably would have played 10 games because he's saving the world, but he's one of my favorite players to watch just because it's like
Oh
how
my
the
god!
fuck can he do that?
And he's the best finisher around the rim I've ever seen at his size.
Yes.
He just makes layups like look easy all the time between two 7-footers or whatever, left hand, up and under, everything. Aaron, what's up, man? Thanks for that. Offensively, Embiid is way better than Hakeem, but Hakeem was if not the best defensive players ever. Joel is good, don't get me wrong, but he's not Hakeem. Hakeem was a lot quicker than Joel Embiid. Like Joel Embiid's just a little bit more big and slow and dopic. Like Hakeem moved crazy for his size. He was like super athletic for his size. And I think if you go back to like Will Chamberlain stuff, same story. Like the guy was a freak athlete for how big he was.
Yeah, I don't think Joel tries on defense like until the fourth quarter, to be honest.
He doesn't. I was talking about that today too. Yeah, he doesn't. He stands it. He lets people do wide open layups all the time.
I don't think he can. I think he would get injured if he played so hard defensively every
Do you think
possession.
do you think like he knows that right now this team needs him so much in the fourth quarter that he tries to like conserve his energy the whole game?
Yeah, he said that, and he said he was yesterday. He was conserving his energy for the second half.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like, I know you guys need me to score a lot of points, so I can't be out here blocking 10 shots in the first half. Like he
I
might
mean,
get
he was
frustrated sometimes too because the perimeter defense is so bad. I think sometimes he
yeah.
watches guys get blown by and he's like, I'm not blocking that.
I remember one time he looked at Seth Curry, and I don't even know what Seth Curry was doing. Like it was a bad play, And he just looked at Seth Curry and allowed the dude to score an easy layup. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about defense in the first half. And I see people on Twitter like every game they're like, "Oh, Embiid's defense is trash right now." It's like, do you understand what it takes to score 30 points a night in a body that's 7'3", 280 pounds?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And blank mixes what's up. I think he's trying to avoid early foul calls.
That's true too.
But he told Doc Rivers at halftime last night that, like, this is on me. I got to play defense. Because he literally wasn't playing defense in the first half.
Plus, it's like, what game is it? Game 45 of an 82-game season. That regular season games really don't matter, to be honest. So,
yeah. And I think he's shown this year that he's been conserving himself more for the fourth quarter, because he has a lot of games this year where he scored more in the fourth quarter than like the 3 other quarters. Like, he's going nuts in the fourth quarter.
yeah.
Like, his 50-point game, I'm pretty sure he scored 21 in the fourth.
That's what Kawhi Leonard does. He always saves himself for the fourth quarter. And he goes off in the fourth quarter.
Well,
like he did to us.
Folding, the Utah's within 7.
Yeah, the Suns are due for like a letdown game. Because they've been winning so much. And they have a lot of players out. So I feel like, yeah, plus the Suns just beat the Jazz, so it's really hard to beat a team twice.
That is true. Aaron, thanks again, man. I'll say this, though. I'd rather have Embiid on D in the postseason than Gobert. Embiid's a better post defender and a way better perimeter defender. You can't go small in the Sixers. Listen, I honestly think Rudy Gobert wins these defensive awards just because of the blocked shot stat. Like, that's it. He's tall and has really long arms, and he moves well for his size, but you don't see him doing things that Embiid does when he really tries.
Yeah, he's not as like, he can't switch on to like Trae Young and keep him in front like Embiid, but his like shot blocking and like is way better than Embiid. Well, not way better, just better. He's just a better shot blocker, but I mean, Embiid's right there with him, in my opinion.
I can't believe Hassan Whiteside is still in the NBA. It's so crazy every time I see him. Hassan Whiteside. That's nuts.
That's because he's 7'2".
Players are not better now. Oh, can you elaborate a little bit, maybe? Oh, here you go. Everything was just more textbook and fundamentally sound. Flashy doesn't mean skilled. Tim Duncan, for example. That's a good take, actually. That's not a bad point. Like, yeah. I guess, back then they were like, do you really have to go through your legs and behind your back? And I don't know.
Sounds like an excuse. No, that's a good point.
Tim Duncan was just a stone cold killer, man. Never even made a facial expression.
Yeah, but he was so boring.
Oh my God, yeah. So boring.
I would rather no rings and Embiid than Tim Duncan boring. I'm telling you, dude, championship rings are overrated. In terms of ranking players, like, everyone's like, oh, he doesn't have a ring. Dude, I don't care. Having a ring involves a lot of luck, a lot of things going your way, and stuff like that. So, like, if that's your main argument for a player, it's just dumb.
I know. I agree with that. And I always come back with this when people are like, once he wins a couple championships, he'll maybe possibly enter the conversation. And I'm like, so Bill Russell's the best player of all time, right? Bill Russell has 11 championships, so he's the best player of all time, right? No, Jordan's the best player of all time. Why? Bill Russell has 11 rings. If Jordan would have got 10, he might have entered the conversation, according to like how they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about who I think is the best player, not who won the most rings. It's a team game. Michael Jordan changed the game. I agree with that. Michael Jordan was ahead of his prime. He was like
Yeah, if you're
Michael Jordan was a new age like wing in like the late 80s and early 90s. Like he was way ahead of his prime. That's why they thought he was Air Jordan. They thought it was amazing how he could fly through the air. Like it was the craziest thing they'd ever seen. And now, like, I mean, come on, you get and like there's high school kids that can almost dunk from the foul line. It's normal these days. What he was doing was so ahead of his time.
Yeah, if you're arguing rings for like LeBron versus Jordan, then it makes sense because like they're just better than the average players, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how you separate them. Who has more rings, who has whatever, all that. But if it's like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, and say Nikola gets a ring, and then like every time you argue with a Jokic fan, all he has to say, oh, he has a ring though. But I'm like, but then I could be like, well, he has a way better coach than Mike Malone, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., all that.
Right.
So that's when they do that in that circumstance, that's when it pisses me off. It's like, dude, it's a one ring. Who cares?
Well, they don't even. He's not even. He doesn't have a ring, right?
Yeah, I know. I was just.
Yeah. But they can't even use that yet. So they use like MVPs
Raptor.
and they use MVPs and playoff performance and stuff like that. They're like Joel Embiid doesn't have an MVP. He doesn't have the dominant playoff performances that Jokic has and things
Well,
like that. And I'm like, he hasn't had a team that could help him get there.
well, that Western Conference appearance does not count, by the way, because that was in the bubble, and I don't count the bubble because that was some fake stuff. I mean, Jamal Murray was shooting like 70%. Donovan Mitchell was shooting like 90%. I'm not counting that shit. And we have seen what the Lakers have turned into ever since the bubble championship. And the Heat went to the finals, you know? Well, they're probably going to make the finals this year, but I mean, I don't know. That was a weird year. I do not count the bubble at all. I don't know about you.
His VORP is slightly below.
Yeah, his Raptor.
And
He's a better defender because the advanced stats say that Jokic is a better defender based on the advanced stats. I'm like, just watch the game. If you watch the game, you can obviously tell Embiid's more of an impact defender. It's that simple.
That's what I mean, man. Like the advanced stats are just annoying to me. That's why I posted the highlight of just Embiid just swatting a layup off the backboard. And I said, there's no advanced stat for this. It's just a block. It's one of those old school stats. You stopped the ball from going in the hoop. You got a block. Not like, oh, this player was on the floor in this many minutes and this happened and this and this and this. And like, it gauges your impact. Like Raptor apparently takes your offensive impact and your defensive impact and gives you some kind of idea of how the player affected the game while he was in. Like, it gets to the point where the stats are too advanced.
Yeah, that's what Daryl Morey loves too. He loves those stats.
Too advanced because now you're talking about situations that aren't like consistent. I just don't like I said, Blake Bortles had a higher QBR than Tom Brady the one year. Like advanced stats don't always make sense. And a plus minus is literally how many how many points you scored versus the other team while you were on the floor. So if you're on the floor with the starting lineup, your plus minus might be higher than somebody that's on the floor with a bunch of bench players. So somebody can be a really good player and be a -6 because he was in the game with Furkan Korkmaz and Andre Drummond. Like it's not, their advanced stats are so misleading. They really are.
You're not an advanced stats guy, I'm guessing.
I hate plus minus. I hate that stat so much.
Yeah, Yeah, it's bad.
They used to use that for Ben Simmons all the time. They'd be like, "Oh, really? Because he was a plus 25 in the fourth quarter when this, that, or happened, and this happened, and that." Well,
Bro,
he had 0 field goals in every fourth quarter of the whole series, and you're gonna tell me he was a plus 20, so I should be okay with that. So you know what? I'm gonna stop watching basketball. I'm just gonna start watching the box score and the plus minus, and that's how I'm gonna decide who's good.
Bro, the reaching for Ben Simmons last year was unbelievable from his supporters. And I don't think I've never been more right about a take than I was about Ben Simmons. Like, it was unreal. Like, they were saying some weird shit with the plus minus stuff and how he actually doesn't have 6 points because he has 10 assists. So actually he has 60 points. It's like, come on now. Even though he would dribble up the court one pass and Seth Curry would knock down a three.
Yeah, but he created 75 points for the team or something. He created. Come on, man. So when they were saying stuff like that, like they would take this advanced stat a step further, like a hockey assist. Like if Ben Simmons drove in, drew the defense, kicked it to somebody, and that person swung it to somebody else, Ben Simmons created that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're reaching even past assist.
So I saw someone said Embiid and Jokic are so close, and that's true. I honestly don't know who's better. But if I were to make an argument, my main argument for Embiid would be like, I think he can control a game more, like in terms of pace and stuff like that. Like him getting to the foul line so often just is so impactful for the Sixers. Like we don't realize because it slows down the game and we're a slow team and stuff like that. So they have to operate from the half court so much because he's always getting to the foul line. And that can completely change the game. So that would be my main thing that Jokic doesn't have. He doesn't get to the foul line as much and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's so close.
I just think they're two different types of players. And, like, Embiid is individually the more unstoppable player. Like, obviously. He's doing things scoring-wise that nobody's done for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Like, Jokic is the facilitating center that's getting his teammates involved more and running the offense more and facilitating more. But like I said to my guy Swipe Cam the other night, I was like, so 1-on-1 though, you wouldn't say Jokic is going to beat Embiid 1-on-1, and he said he took Jokic. He said he would, and I'm like, come on, man.
Well, that's because he's a Nuggets fan.
I know, but like you
can't
gotta
go with
realistic though. Jokic is a passing center. He's not taking Embiid 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's true. If they were both trying, I would pick Embiid. I mean, I think Embiid's quicker off the dribble too. He has a nice, quick first step, like a shooting guard. He shouldn't have that quick of a first step. He's like Giannis, get the ball at the top of the key and just go right by the center. Jokic doesn't really do that. He like backs him down and like shoots it over his head and does like floaters.
Embiid is carrying a trash team. I mean, to be fair, Jokic is carrying a trash team too.
Yeah.
Without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
I mean, they're easily the top two candidates. I mean,
I wouldn't put.
You could throw in Giannis, I guess, but he's already 1-2. Who cares? He's already 1-2. Let Jokic and Embiid go for it. Come on now. And Steph Curry should not be anywhere near the fucking MVP conversation. That dude has been throwing up bricks for a month now. Plus, he has 2 All-Stars. Well, Andrew Wiggins shouldn't be an All-Star, but he probably will get in because the media is biased towards Golden State for some reason. So Draymond and Andrew Wiggins are All-Stars, and you're telling me Steph Curry's a goddamn MVP candidate? Come on now.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's like how they had Kevin Durant up there. I'm like, what? He's playing with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. How is that the most valuable player? Like the most valuable player. Which player is the most valuable to their team? Like if that player is not in the game, which team is the worst? It's got to be the Sixers. It would be horrendous without Embiid.
I mean, they're 3-8 without him.
They're 3-8 without him this year?
Yeah.
they're
They're
terrible.
on the a pace of being a lottery team without him. Like they would be the Pistons, they would be like the Magic. Unless, I mean, Tyrese Maxey was putting up like 28 a game without Embiid, but we were losing.
Luka's been underrated this year. I haven't even watched really a lot of
Oh,
Dallas highlights or anything.
yeah, that's my like hot take of the year. I think the Mavericks could win the West. I love their team.
Is Porzingis playing a lot?
Yeah, they're like a top 5 defense all of a sudden.
Do they
And
just not talk
Porzingis,
about them at all on ESPN or anything?
I mean, Luka missed a lot. I think they have a losing record with Luka, kind of like Embiid, and like a really good record with him. They just got killed by the Warriors, but we don't have to talk about that. But I mean, their defense, their smallest player in their starting lineup is Jalen Brunson, but he's a good defender. And then their second smallest is Luka at 6'7". So their defense is unbelievable, and they could switch and stuff like that. The only problem with their team is Luka generates so many open threes, but they're only shooting 32% as a team. So they suck at shooting threes, and that's pretty much all they take. So my thinking is if they get to the playoffs and they get hot from three, like there's been times over like a 5-game, winning streak where they shoot like really good from three. So I'm thinking if they get to the playoffs and they actually shoot good from three, like 37%, whatever, they could beat any team because their defense is that good. And then also last year, they took the Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to 7 games. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to 7 games. And that's when they had a trash-ass defense. Their defense last year was one of the worst in the league. But now this year, Jason Kidd has completely flipped that around. So I think the Mavericks are low-key. But I think the Suns probably will still win the West, to be honest.
Yeah, the Suns are just too complete from top to bottom. What do you think about
the Heat?
What do you think about the East?
I mean, I think the
Is
Heat
Chicago
probably
healthy?
Nah. They relied too much on DeMar DeRozan. I don't think they relied too much on like making tough shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shots that are gonna
too much isolation. DeMar DeRozan has been playing unreal, but in a playoff series, teams can game plan, and he's known to come up short a bit in the playoffs. So I don't know. I wouldn't trust the Bulls.
Celtics top 4 defense. Jimmy, you're funny, man. Thanks for coming in. You always provide me with some laughs. Celtics are awful.
What do you think of the Cavs?
Celtics are top 4 trash. Kevin Love went nuts last night.
Dude, Darius Garland. He gives me Trae Young vibes, like the way he operates in the pick and roll and with his floaters. Like whenever I watch the Cavs, I get PTSD from Trae Young cooking us.
Yeah, I don't think people are talking enough about how the Cavs are where they are. Like I can't believe, like, I watch NBA TV a lot. Like, you would think people would be like, yo, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 5th in the East, and they're not.
They're
like
3rd now.
Are they really?
They just blew out the Bucks tonight.
And it's not like one of those years where, they're playing without Colin Sexton too, but like I feel like last year or the year before, like they started out hot and everybody was like, "Yeah, it's the Cavs, they'll chill out." Like they're not chilling out. They're for real.
Yeah, they lost Ricky Rubio, who was one of their top scorers off the bench. They lost Colin Sexton. Lauri Markkanen just got injured too. And they're still winning.
Lauri Markkanen, he was playing good too.
They're still winning because Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and Darius Garland are that good. Like their defense is scary.
Yeah, it's important. And guess what? The Brooklyn Nets just threw Jared Allen away. They're like, get out of here. We're good. I don't even remember how he ended up leaving Brooklyn.
Wasn't he was in the James Harden deal, right? Wasn't it a 3-team trade?
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Yep.
And the Rockets got Victor Oladipo for James. They did get a bunch of picks, I think.
Well, they got Karis LeVert, and they traded him for Oladipo.
I forget. Is that what happened?
They got Karis LeVert, and they immediately traded him for Victor Oladipo. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that was a weird deal.
Well, yeah,
dude, that's the Cavs team kind of like the Cavs team is like weird because you wouldn't think it would work with Allen and Mobley, but it is working. And it's because they have a small guard like Garland, just operating the pick and roll and diamond people. So like if the Sixers ever did, go get like a John Collins, say, you have to have like a guy who can run the pick and roll, like a Garland or Trae Young type. That's what was missing on the Al Horford and Joel Embiid experiment. Like that was the dumbest idea, but if you had a pick and roll guard, unlike Ben Simmons who can't run a pick and roll, it might have been better because there's just so much length and stuff like that.
You literally had 4 forwards on the floor.
And then Tobias Harris ruins it too. I feel like if Tobias Harris wasn't on the floor, I think that would open up spacing for Tyrese Maxey to run the pick and roll.
Dude, I think you might be able to consider Josh Richardson a small forward. I think you might have had 3 forwards and 2 centers that year. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I could not believe what I was watching.
It was like an unathletic version of what the Cavs are now.
There was no guards on the floor at all. And then when we finally got like Trey Burke, and like he had the one game where he had 21 and 8, and Ben Simmons had a 34-point triple-double. Brett Brown benched him for like the rest of the season.
And then coaching staff.
Aaron, thanks again, man. Donovan Mitchell averages 28 points per game on good efficiency in the playoffs for his career. The last 2 seasons, he's been unbelievable. If Gobert didn't get exposed every playoffs, the Jazz would have a ring.
Hey, bro. I got to stick up for Rudy Gobert. Without him this season, they have been atrocious, so. Because their perimeter defense is trash without him.
I remember when Donovan Mitchell was drafted. Like, he was like the 9th pick in the draft, I want to say. He wasn't even really talked about that much. He was just like that one athletic freak that could like do windmill dunks and stuff. Nobody really knew he was going to be as good as he is.
Did you see Rudy Gobert like called out basically Donovan Mitchell for not playing defense?
Did he
He's
really?
like, yeah, he in an interview he's like, I don't know, I'm getting tired of seeing other teams around the league buy into perimeter defense or whatever. And then he named Devin Booker. He was like, Devin Booker bought in. It was like a low-key shot at like all the perimeter guys.
Donovan Mitchell's the one of 2 players in NBA history with 35 shot attempts and 0 assists in a game. The other player is Carmelo Anthony.
He's very inefficient at times.
35 shot attempts and 0 assists in a game. Donovan Mitchell and Carmelo Anthony. That's it.
We need more bad shot takers on the Sixers. I'm telling you.
You need somebody that's just a dog that's going to take the ball and try to but I think a lot of it is Doc Rivers, man. I think if Tyrese Maxey had somebody behind him telling him to do that, he would be more of that guy.
I mean, I don't
like
just when the way they use him is so stupid.
The game that he dropped 39, I'm pretty sure he had almost 30 shot attempts. Like, he should be encouraged to do that all the time.
No, it's because he just dribbles up the court and he's looking to pass. You could tell, like, he's dribbling, trying to make that entry pass that they always do. And then he goes to the corner. And then Tobias is dribbling for like 55 seconds. It's like, you could tell in his head that he's like, oh, I got to run the play. I have to run the play.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's thinking. That's the problem. Doc's been in his head like that for a long time now.
And he literally can be like a 20. He could score 20 points any night. Like, you know what really made me realize how bad we utilize Tyrese Maxey? I made a bet at halftime. It was like couple days ago. I think he had 14 points in the first half against the Rockets or whatever. I don't know. He had 14 points, and the over-under was 19 and a half. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's going over. And then next thing you know, I put money on the line, and he's not getting the ball. It pissed me off. So I was screaming at the TV, shoot the ball.
You
Fucking
needed
shoot the
5 points
ball.
from him.
No, he didn't get 5 points. He finished with 19. He had to get over 19 and a half. I was like, damn, we really don't use Tyrese Maxey.
If Tobias gave Maxey half of his shots, we'd be the 1 seed.
Exactly. That's why I want Tobias gone, because without him, we would be forced to use Maxey because he dribbles so much. Give me Harrison Barnes.
Is there a way we can get ourselves a Jordan Poole, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, and Harrison Barnes?
I'll take Eric Gordon.
Or are you talking about like one of those guys? I mean, we can't get a Jordan Poole because we don't develop anybody. We don't ever have a player that came up through our system that's just suddenly like a threat to score.
You want to hear what Kevin Love did tonight?
What?
25 points in 27 minutes.
Dude, what is Kevin Love on lately?
It's because he can shoot, bro.
I know, but man, he came back. It was like, didn't he miss? He missed a lot of games this year, right?
Nah, he was just like, I think he was injured last year, but he also hated the team because they sucked.
Dude, Cedi Osman had 23 off the bench.
Oh, dude, that dude does not miss.
He had 14 3-point attempts.
He doesn't miss, bro.
We're talking about how we don't have players that were willingly shoot the ball. This guy shot 14. He came off the bench for 23. He came off the bench. Oh, he played 34 minutes. Either way, he shot 14 threes off the bench.
I think he had like 3 3-pointers in like the first 5 minutes of him getting in the game. Because I was watching a bit.
I love that a player's just not afraid to let it fly. He's 6 for 14.
Do you think if Daryl Morey wasn't asking for the moon, we could have, been like, yo, Ben Simmons for Darius Garland straight up, and we'll give you a pick. Like, I'm talking before the season.
Yeah, probably before the season, definitely. Yeah.
See, like, he would never make a move like that because he has his eyes on the stars. That's my problem with him.
Yeah, it has to be an established player that is a big name. I don't think he knows enough about the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, a bunch of no-name players, whatever. I don't think he knows who they are.
Dude, the best move is probably, like, the best deal is probably the deal we don't even, like, we have no idea about. But, like, a GM like Daryl Morey, he's not going to make that type of move where you question it, where you're like, oh, that was a dumbass move. But then 3 years down the road, you're like, damn, that dude really developed into a star.
Yep. Does Cavs have Rajon Rondo? Wow.
Yeah, because Ricky Rubio got hurt, so they replaced him with Rondo.
Can't believe Rondo's still in the league, man. Coming off the bench for the Cavs. They're making noise, though. They beat the Bucks by 16, man. That's embarrassing, Giannis. What's going on here?
If the Sixers win tomorrow, we could be tied with the Bucks.
Giannis had 26, 9, and 3. He had 7 turnovers.
He better be calling himself out like Embiid does. No.
7 turnovers. Yeah, I better hear it from the rest of the league because they jump on Embiid when he does that. Embiid will have 40 points, but if he has 6 turnovers, it's his fault that we lost. And it's like, oh, but at the end of the game, this, and this. Like, the only reason we were there is because he had 42 and 18.
Yeah, he dropped 30 points a game in that Hawks series. Oh, but he turned the ball over 2 times while he was trying to be Michael Jordan because Ben Simmons and Tobias were nowhere to be found. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, oh, Embiid has turnover issues. He's a center handling the ball the whole game. because he doesn't have a point guard. He's gonna have turnover issues.
And then people were like, he's such a bad leader. He called his teammate out. It's like, oh, like this has been building up for like the whole Ben Simmons era, and he had a one outbreak where he literally didn't even say anything that bad. And people were like, oh, he's such a bad leader. It's like, come on now.
He was sick of the BS, man. That's the thing. Like if anybody that watched that series and blames Embiid and thinks like that's the thing, the Simmons fanboys are like, oh, but Embiid's the one that lost the game at the end and blah blah. Bro, Ben didn't do it. So choosing to not do anything is better than trying and failing. That's what I don't get. Like, well, at least he didn't miss 21 shots. He didn't take any.
Dude, if you're a Ben Simmons stan, like, or like I don't even know, like, you're just a pussy. It's that simple. It's that simple.
They gotta be kids, man. They gotta be like 10 years old. There's just no way.
No, it's like, but there's people on Twitter, like, they're saying, oh, free Ben, whatever. Free Ben from Embiid. Free Ben from, like, how could you say that?
They'll see. I can't wait for him to go to another team and do the same thing he did with us.
Free Ben from what? All he has to do is come back and, grow a pair and, swallow his pride and be like, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then play for, 3 weeks, take the booze and all that stuff. And then he will get traded because he'll probably play well in two of the games or whatever. But he can't do that. He can't do it mentally. That would be the best thing for Ben Simmons. If he came back and he overcame all that adversity, because that shit would be fucking hard. So if he came back and did that, I would give him all the props, and I'm sure that would help him a lot mentally or whatever. Talk about mental health problems. That's literally what he needs. He needs to face this and come back. We just trading him away, it's not going to help him, It's not going to help his mental health.
Isn't it crazy that we know he's such a fraud that there's 0% chance of that happening? Like, I've never seen a player that you could absolutely guarantee was not going to come play again.
Mm-hmm.
That's you're right. Thing, man. All he has to do is step onto the court and play. Like, I've never seen an NBA player that was perfectly healthy that was just like, nah, the fans are mean. The coach threw me under the bus. Everybody hates me. I'm not coming back. What? Just put the jersey on and play the game, dumbass. If the first time you drive the lane and dunk on somebody, the fans will instantly love you again. But he won't even consider it. There's no way he would ever even come close to doing it.
Yeah, and I'm sure, dude, Joel Embiid probably hates him right now, but if like he came up to him and apologized and like, he's saying, oh, I'm back here, I'm willing to, shoot threes every once in a while, blah, 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 or just play. He doesn't even have to shoot threes. Like, I'm sure Joel Embiid would forgive him and be like, give him another shot. Joel's not that type of dude to be like, F off.
Yeah, Ben just disrespected everybody, man. I love that interview where they asked Joel about Ben showing up to practice, and he was like, man, I'm not worried about that, man. That's all he said. He's so over it.
It's just, I think Daryl Morey actually believes, because he has no idea, like, he actually believes like Ben Simmons coming back is a possibility. Do you think he believes that himself, or was that just him saying that?
He hesitated when I think Doc Rivers actually believes that. When he's like, we still want Ben to come back, like I talked to him here and there, and like blah blah. Like, shut up. But when Mike Missinelli asked Daryl Morey that on the radio, he hesitated for like 2 seconds, and he was like, I mean, yeah, I think so. No, you don't.
Dude, if he doesn't get traded, I want him to come back just to make it interesting, because I can't just because imagine the spectacle of Ben Simmons coming back to the Wells Fargo Center. That would be the most entertaining game I've ever seen.
The thing that's crazy is, did you send me that video about all the houses and cars that he owns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the crazy part is he has to play in the NBA again.
Yeah.
He has to. He has to make a lot of money to sustain the lifestyle that he wants to live. He cannot just quit playing in the NBA. Unless he wants to go live in a normal house in a normal town and be a normal, regular, everyday person, and he doesn't want to do that. So guess what, buddy? You want to live the lifestyle of someone that makes NBA money, you're gonna have to play NBA basketball. So what are you doing?
That video was so good.
Yeah, it was in depth, man. It was even talking about the houses that he bought and what area they're in and how much they sell for and how he's like not even being smart. He's not even being smart with his real estate purchases. Like
I hope Ben Simmons saw that video.
Apparently he also has $20 million worth of cars.
That's crazy. He was even roasting him about like the car he bought.
Yeah, that's funny because like cars depreciate, dude. That's the worst investment you can ever make. You only collect cars if you have a shit ton of expandable money. Not you quit playing basketball, bro. You can't be a car collector. You have to make money now.
Hopefully he gets traded though. I still think it would be so awesome to just see him get booed. It would be so funny.
How is Ben Simmons having money problems? Just got a max contract.
You got to go watch that video, buddy.
He's not playing. He's not getting paid. And he got over $1 million in fines.
Like he has a lot of money, but the lifestyle he has, like he's going to need to, get that contract money. But if he doesn't play, it's not going to happen.
People don't think about the expenses. Like you're talking about, dude, the one dude he was talking about, he has to pay over $2 million a year just in property tax. Like there's so much money involved in owning mansions and cars and like upkeep and like, I mean, dude, you can't just, oh, I have $100 million, so I'm going to buy $100 million worth of houses. No, you now have like $300,000 a month in normal like utility bills because you own such a massive house. Like this shit is not cheap. You can't just go make $0 and keep all your properties.
Jimmy J says he has generational money. He does if he invested it right, but he didn't. That's the point of that video. I mean, if he plays, then obviously he could afford that lifestyle, but he's not playing.
That max contract wasn't even his first contract. No, it wasn't. His first contract was a rookie contract, and he was the first pick in the draft. So it's a guaranteed 30. It was $30 million at the time over 4 years or something like that. But dude, listen, that's why we talk about the way that his lifestyle all the time, because he's not a guy that got that contract and said, all right, I'm going to go invest 28 million of this and I'm going to live like until I get a big contract. No, this guy was posting pictures of $2 million Rolls Royces before he ever played an NBA game. I'm telling you, Ben Simmons has to play basketball.
I don't think he will, though. I think Morey's not going to trade him.
What endorsements are we talking about? FaZe Clan?
FaZe Clan is dying, bro.
What endorsements are we talking about? Look what happened to Delonte West. I guess I shouldn't laugh about that, but
you might get canceled for that laugh.
Utah's within 5. All right, it's 11:45. I'm gonna get up out of here. This was cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, we're just chilling.
190 people still in here. That's cool. We don't really have a reason to be here at all. We just come up here, talk about basketball, and watch the game, I guess. Thanks everybody for coming through, man. Hit the like button on the stream. We'll see you guys Do you want to do a post game tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Sixers Lakers post game live.
We'll actually have something to talk about.
Yeah, we'll have a reason to be here. Myself tomorrow night after the Sixers Lakers game. Be there. Peace.